Welcome to Sweet Tree of Life Tarot. This reading is for May 2022. Welcome, Sagittarius, wonderful fire sign friends here. Welcome to Sweet Tree of Life Tarot. I'm going to be reading a Tree of Life spread. For those of you that are not too familiar with the spread, it's basically like the Tree of Life with on top being the top of the tree, and then as you go down the branches, then towards the middle here where the or towards the bottom here we have the trunk of the tree, and then the roots of the tree. Usually in personal readings I do tend to add an 11th card, but this time I usually don't for the regular readings unless I need further clarification. But I think this reading is pretty clear. Let's go ahead and start. Right here in the number one position is usually the position that has the issue. When I first picked the card, it was actually upside down, which means a reversal. I usually don't read reversals because of where the cards lay, whether it's reversed or not. It usually means a specific thing. But for some reason, when I did get the reversal, it basically does mean that some of you Sagittarius are okay as far as like you already figured things out. You're no longer in this period of indecision, an acceptance of situations, which you have no longer control over. You've kind of accepted those. But because it is the hangman, and it is usually in the card in the position of an issue, then it usually does tend to mean that some of you are not having the situation. You've actually fixed it, but then reversed it. However, others of you may have the situation where you're kind of like having a period of suspension or sacrifice. It also means acceptance of, you know, of acceptance that has to come about. But if you have in this position, for some of you that have already gone past the kind of hanging, so to speak, on different situations that no longer serve you. As you can see, he can easily get out of that. Just kind of wiggle out and then head into more positive routes. But for those that have already done this, you've been able to have an acceptance for that situation for what it is, and are able to move forward with a new decision. So you're not stuck in that. But those of you that do have it in this position here, it does usually mean that you're kind of undecided. The ones here for in the number two position, we have the Three of Pentacles. Now, the Three of Pentacles is a very earthbound card, and as you can see in the readings here, we're going to have some pentacles, a lot of earth energy, also a lot of kings as well. So it's a very, very positive spread overall. And we do have a Three of Pentacles here. For you Sagittarius, I'm seeing the completion of a short-term goal. This card also is a reminder to see the bigger picture, so that with careful planning, determination, and persistence, and of course hard work, your dreams can be achieved. It is important to have your skills kind of like honed in, stick to the plan. Because it does have somebody here working with you, it does indicate that maybe possibly you can team up with others in order to possibly make that transition easier, in order to reach that prosperity a lot quicker, or just to reach it on in its own. So make sure you do have reliable people that can work with you to maintain this prosperity that you have, and to get even more prosperity and more success. As you can see, the little bird here has a little seed that's also contributing to making things grow in this beautiful garden. And you might need a partner to kind of help you transition into reaching that prosperity a little easier, whether it be advice or or an actual partnership. And the number three position is usually here what you have as far as like either created or are in the process of creating. This is a Nine of Pentacles. As you can see, it's a very beautiful card. It's very positive. Again, this card represents someone who is not just financially stable, but also represents someone who is self-sufficient, refined. She's very comfortable in her surroundings. She has built a life that she visualized for herself. Therefore, she's feeling contentment, fulfilled, And the peacock does refer to grace, refinement, and affluence. So being well established and affluent and prosperity. So this is a very positive card. So you had Two of Pentacles here. That's giving a very great indication. And for some of you, you've already made the decision that you need to make in order to keep that going. And for others of you, Sagittarius, it seems like you seem to be kind of undecided still. It's kind of hanging in the balance, so to speak. But most of you have that already situated because it did come up initially in the reversal. Now the number 4 position here, which is quite coincidentally, is also the 4 here, the 4 of Pentacles. Now the 4 of Pentacles in this position is like, what's giving you the energy to build? Well, obviously your success has given you the energy to build, to keep going forward. You have good stability there financially right now. You're very self-sufficient, refined, and if you're not at the point where you're really well established, that's coming up, showing that that's what you're creating, that's what you're working on, that's what you're driving through. And then what's giving you the energy to build is that same momentum of wanting to succeed and have the stability or continue the stability that you already have, but knowing that it is going to be through, again, hard work in order to maintain it like you have in the past. This one right here for the 4 of Pentacles, this symbolizes, you can see she has a lot of money here. She has the Pentacles, very earthly bound, very material kind of card. So basically, she's gathered a lot of fruits, a lot of, wealth, but she desires to maintain that control and hang on to her possessions. So what this card kind of reminds us is that even though you might have the inclination to hold on to possessions, remember, even though careful planning it is wise to carefully plan in wise spending, our virtues, but the danger is with this card is kind of reminding us not to be too possessive or controlling, because in this position here, she seems that she's unwilling to share and she's kind of willing to be alone instead of kind of partnering up with someone or sharing her wealth with someone. So remember, even though you have all of these blessings, they usually are given, you're giving those blessings to share with others, and then by that way, having those blessings continue to grow for you. So just kind of remembering not to try to have too much control, because you do want to be able to share that and kind of release that control a little bit so that you're not just focused on that and you're able to continue to produce more. In the number 5 position here, we have, it's always usually something you have to dissolve. So it's kind of like we have the Ace of Wands. So we treat it as if it was a reversal. So basically, the Ace of Wands, obviously it's a fire sign, so it could be relating to a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, a person as well. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're having any issues, you might have to deal with that kind of person. Otherwise, it's just, the Ace of Wands here, because it is considered to be in reverse, it's unfocused energy and disorganization. So if you're at all unfocused or having disorganization, it's telling you to kind of turn that around. If it is involving a partner, whether it could be, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, if it's a partnership that you're involved in, whether it's business or actual love interest, it could also indicate, with that type of relationship, maybe some significant differences and in creative vision or goals. So you definitely want to make sure you kind of turn that around, become more focused energy and more organized, okay? So that you can turn the Ace of Wands in the opposite direction here. But the King of Wands here, the King of Pentacles is basically in a 6th position, which is like the synergy of the reading. So the synergy of the reading here basically, it encompasses all the energies here to create a bigger energy, right? So this is kind of like the center of the energy of the Tree of Life, which is a King of Pentacles. This is one of the best kings you could get. He is very earthly, and so that means he is very much grounded. He's a king of prosperity, success, ambition, and security. So this is a hugely positive card, especially because it all relates with the pentacles and security and it seems like this reading tends to really focus on that security and financial aspect of the reading. He is very reliable, generous, skillful. He's knowledgeable in practical matters as well. This king is considered to be trustworthy, steadfast, enterprising. Even though he's not overly sentimental, he is a loving and kind man. So this is either somebody in your life or how the energies you're expelling out to, kind of radiating out this energy where this whole thing's kind of saying, yes, you're going to be successful. Yes, you're going to reach your success. You have that, power within you, and that balance of not being too emotional or going the other direction either. You have a good balance there. So very reliable, generous, skillful. So this generosity here will, keep the Four of Pentacles kind of more controlled. So I don't think this is a very big issue, but this one is where you have to make sure you are focused, your energy, and you are a bit more organized so that you can continue your path. Now, right here in the seventh position, and the position of victory, we have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, she tends to be a very forceful communicator, very assertive and represents, like a test of will sometimes. But she is very just and forthright. She uses her sharp wit and intellect to solve problems and diffuse conflict. So it's a very positive card. She also remains very calm, even though she has all these birds around her, kind of looking like they might come and like try to bother her. She's still remaining very calm, and she's just kind of ready for action. So she is very aware of her surroundings and ready for action if needed, but she's very calm as well. And then you can see the light kind of coming through, and that's, more positivity, more hope coming as well. But she is ready to make that victory happen and act if necessary. So it's a very positive card as well. Right here we have a major arcana. This is in the 8th position. It's the Emperor. The Emperor is obviously a fire sign. You can see all the indications there. Just kind of like a little mix of everything, but basically more like a fire sign because of the ram. The ram's horns usually mean somebody that's very sure-footed, protecting his domain, very symbol of assuredness, and intelligence. So it's very symbolic there. He has this ankh here as well, and the crystal balls, and there's very representative as well of vision and eternity, and just a lot of symbolism here. As well as vision with the birds. And then you have the positivity of the sun coming through, which is radiating positive, openness, just kind of seeing everything a little more clearly. He's very structured, protective, and authoritative. So this kind of reveals in this position what you kind of want. So maybe you either want to become more structured and protective or authoritative, or you're just wanting to become just more assured of where you're at and just kind of display that more, not just for others but for yourself. You just want to feel that sense of stability, that yes, I can do this, yes, I can be structured and be protective if I need to, and just have that strength, So all of these cards do reveal a lot of strength within yourself and within your situation. So it's a very positive reading. Right here in the 9th position, which is kind of like the trunk of the tree, we have usually means how you see yourself or others see you, because it is in this position here. So it's the King of Cups. So either you see yourself like this or others see you like this as well. So the King of Cups is a very good king card to have. You can see he has 1 foot on earth and 1 foot in the water. This does not mean unbalanced. This actually means that he's very balanced. He doesn't let his emotions get away with him. He's very balanced in keeping that delicate balance going. He's very strong, wise. He's also known to be patient, honorable, and kind, and very highly intuitive and compassionate. And even though he keeps his emotions, in balance and in order to, he does that in order to rule fair and justly and a just manner, like, like a king should. He uses his intellect and diplomatic leadership. He's able to diffuse tensions and keep the peace, which is very important because you can see here, she also, the page usually has like, it's like a messenger. She usually also keeps the peace very well. She uses her intellect to do the same. So this is a very powerful reading, very beautiful reading. It just shows that you have that stability, you will, and you are creating that. And it's just wanted to just make sure you stay focused and you stay organized in order to keep that going. Because it seems like for some of you that have made that decision to go forward in whatever you're wanting to go forward in, you're already on that road with, victory looking very high there, and you just kind of aspiring to become better and better, and improving in yourself, like the emperor here, to become more structured, again with the structured and the organization here. So let's go ahead and go to the last card. The 10th card is usually reflects what the outcome is or where you are radiating out. And this kind of connects with the Emperor on what you want to be like. So the Eight of Swords here, it usually refers to somebody that feels restricted or feeling bound, literally, right? You can see that in the picture here, in the card. She might feel a little helpless or vulnerable even. You might just feel a little vulnerable right now. But you can tell here, she's really imprisoning herself. The birds are not keeping her hostage. She can really just loosen up and release herself from captivity, and just kind of go through the swords, gap in the swords, and go into the positive light here that's opening up there. She also has that blindfold though, that kind of keeps her feeling like she's vulnerable, or kind of keeps her not wanting to see the situation that's really happening around her, and really being able to see her way out. So she's kind of holding herself in that position, like that restriction and that kind of vulnerable position, when in reality, she just needs to take the blindfold off, kind of shake these off a little bit, and just walk right through the swords and leave that situation. So this is basically what that's kind of radiating out. And it makes sense because you have that radiating out of this and on what you want to become, which is more authoritative, right? More like assured. So that kind of makes sense with this here. Now, as far as the reading goes here, when it's a tree of life spread, right here you have the pillar of severity, and then you have the pillar of mercy. So you need both in order to keep that balance, and in the middle is considered the pillar of harmony. So for those of you that are having the issue with the hangman, where you need to kind of make a decision and kind of are not quite sure which way to go, because you're no longer, you want to make sure that you don't have that indecision, and then you're actually able to see your situation or accept the situation that you're in. So for some of you, dealing with the Eight of Swords here, have to kind of get over that feeling of restriction, kind of seeing things for what they are, to feel less helpless or vulnerable, because it's really not as bad as it looks. You kind of just have to take your blindfold off and go into more positive thinking. Right here, the King of Cups, of course, everything's with love and emotion and so forth. But he's not an over emotional person at all. He's very balanced. So you have that great balance. But because the moon only lights part of your path, you have to remember to use your intuition to light the rest of your path. Your intuition and your faith, whatever your beliefs are. So you'd want to keep that in mind. So keep that intuition going, keep that positivity, and just and strong and wise, honorable, kind person that you are. But he is very intuitive, and of course, with the moon there, it actually reinforces that intuitiveness that you'll have to use in order to make your decisions, that in order to come to the decision that you have to make. And of course, here, as you go up, you have the King of Pentacles, very strong energy, very prosperous, successful, knowledgeable. Even though he's not a very sentimental king like this one, very balanced. So it's a lot of balance here. I love this reading. It's a lot of balance. And you're very trustworthy, enterprising. But even though even though he is very balanced and structured, he's still very loving and kind, very loving and kind man. Or a very loving and kind person that you're you're radiating out throughout this energy, which is what I look at it as you radiating out this energy to make everything happen. And then as you go up, of course, just this thing you have to dissolve, which means what? You have to dissolve being unfocused and disorganized. So if you have to organize yourself and reorganize, go ahead and take the time to do that so that you can continue to prosper and keep creating that prosperity that you have here. And then ultimately also, change that situation where you feel blinded like you do here at the bottom, where you feel like the situation is not quite clear, and get to that decision that you need to make by seeing things for what they are and just taking everything into account and focusing on what you need to do and keeping that energy more organized. I thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you'd like a personal reading, I am taking those personal readings, and I do have an email that you can reach me at, and I do have that in the link provided. If you do like these readings, please go ahead and like them and subscribe so that I know that you are actually interested in me making another reading for next month. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm wishing you lots of peace, lots of light and love as well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Peace and love and light towards you and the rest of your month. Thank you.